sir. Just went go live. And we are live. What's up, guys? There are 9 NBA games on the board, and I do have some bets I like, but there's only 2 of us, so we'll be able to get through this pretty quickly so we can all go back to watching March Madness. That Wisconsin-Purdue game was awesome, even more awesome that I had Wisconsin plus the points. That being said, I got hooked with Auburn. I had Auburn minus 7.5. Of course, it lands on 7. I've been hooked 4 or 5 times in the last 48 hours. I don't know if it's contagious, but that needs to stop now. All right, so
I got you on that.
Yeah, I need to get out of the this getting hooked trend. I had Spurs plus 10.5, landed on 11. I tailed somebody on Hornets plus 10.5, landed on 11. I'm just getting hooked left and right.
Yep, I took the Hornets too.
Yeah, I was actually tailing Chris on that, but I was leaning that way anyway. I liked the under in that game and ended up tailing. But
nice. Yeah, it was a low total too.
So the first game up is Cleveland on the road in Houston, and clearly there's some sharp money coming in on the Rockets. Bought this down from 5.5 down to 4.5, so I lost some closing line value. If I'm being honest, I'm not really worried about it. I am on Cleveland, and I'm remaining on Cleveland. I am personally holding a Cleveland minus 5.5 ticket. Line movement doesn't scare me here. The only time the line movement would scare me off is if I haven't done my due diligence. If I did like a quick handicap, because it's like, okay, so maybe some other pros are seeing something that I didn't see. I went through this game pretty thoroughly, and I like my position. Quick reasoning why. So strength of schedule, Houston. Yeah, they look great recently. They're 29th in strength of schedule in the last 5 games. Meanwhile, Cleveland 7th in the last 10 games. So Cleveland's playing a much tougher schedule than the Rockets. Really like the way the Cavs looked in that Pelicans game on the road. I took them plus 6 there with Mitchell back. Remember how good this Cleveland Cavs team was? That wasn't that long ago. What was that, 6 weeks ago? They've been hurt. And by the way, I know Mobley's out right now. The Cavs were covering the number left and right without him. So that doesn't scare me here. And if Cleveland's about to be back, I think I might have jumped back onto the Cleveland bus just in time. Because I think the Cavs are about to turn up again for the next month or two. Matchup-wise, there's something I want to point at here. So I like the matchup on both sides of the court, by the way. But the Rockets' defense that we're all crazy about, they've been playing great defense against a three-point shot in the last 5 games. Look who they played. Hold on. Ready? In the last 3 games, here it is. Of the last 3 games, opponents are shooting just 32.1% from 3 against the Rockets, which would be first in the NBA on a season-long basis. Their opponents, the Wizards, the Spurs, and the Hawks, all bottom 10 3-point shooting teams. Now you got a Cleveland Cavs team that's been a top 5, top 7 3-point shooting team. I think that Rockets 3-point defense is going to be exposed a little bit, and we just haven't seen. Everyone's big on the Rockets right now. They're covering the number. They're playing the Wizards, the Spurs, the Hawks. We haven't seen them get tested since Şengün's out. Now we got a team that's going to challenge them at the rim on both sides of the court, and I think we're really going to see Şengün missing from the lineup here. So, yeah, I'm on the square side. Line's moving against me. I don't really care. I'm pretty comfortable on Cleveland.
Yep. Yeah. I took the over in this one. Is where I started. I just think there's no rim protection for the Rockets. It was tough for me not to take Jared Allen, but these lines are getting sharp for these player props. By the way, like they're getting better. I was talking to Prop Beaver about that the other day, and I don't know if they hired some new people or what, but they're like on it. Jared Allen has a 12.5 point rebound prop rather, and I was like, as soon as I saw this game, I was like, I don't think Şengün's playing either. I don't think anybody can rebound for this Rockets team. That's going to be a huge part of it. They're going to be not only I think the 3-point stuff going to be there. They're going to get to the free throw line with Donnie Mitchell and Garland. I think Strus is back. Didn't I see that?
No, I think it's Dean Wade. Oh, let me check. I don't think Strus is back for this one.
Now where I saw that.
No, Strus is still out. Dean Wade is the one listed as probable.
Okay, cool. Got mixed up my good-looking white guys. But
that guy Sam Merrill, by the way, doesn't miss. That guy never misses.
There was one game that he's missed, I think, and it was when a bunch of people bet him. It was
I meant he never misses a shot. Like when I'm watching, I'm like, does this dude ever miss a 3? Every time he pulls up, he hits.
They also bring him in like the right spots. Obviously, like he comes in these like end of the quarter moments, and it's just like a flamethrower. But yeah, I think there's definitely points to be had here because the Rockets' best defense now is continuing to foul. So that's why I would lean Cavs too. I when I saw that money coming in on the Cavs or on the Rockets, I was like, whoa, what am I missing with Donovan Mitchell back? And I that's what I'm always trying to find, right? Is like not just what my bet is, but what's the opposite, argument to my bet, and try to see if I care about that or if I can dissect that better or whatever. I don't have anything with the lineup that this Rockets team is going to be throwing out there where it's like Jabari Smith is your rim protection, I guess. Like, good luck with that. Jared Allen's going to eat him alive. And so, yeah, I was in agreement with everything you said. I was going to bring up a bunch of points I thought of, like, who cares that Evan Mobley isn't in because they were covering without him and they've been playing without him way more than with him for the last, like, the third of, 2/3 of the season. So I'm on everything you said. I don't need to repeat all of it, but I think points are to come because of the lack of defense that you're going to see from Houston.
Absolutely. And the lack of defense, that's exactly it. It's kind of the consensus that we all think this Rockets defense is good. And it's been true for most of the season. But in the last 5 games, they've played some bad teams. And they're 15th in overall defensive efficiency, 23rd at the rim. That's been the strength of their defense. They're 23rd at the rim in the last 5 games against the Wizards, the Spurs. Like, these are not teams you should be getting eaten up at the rim. So I think Cleveland's about to go off on them. I think this is going to be a blowout, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm on the Cavs.
Dig it.
Our poll is definitely with me on Cleveland. Like I said, this is definitely going to be the public square side. Don't care. I'm comfortable.
Yeah. Yep.
Next up, let's talk Brooklyn, Indiana. Do you have anything for this one?
Yeah, I had a prop for this one with Tyrese Halliburton to go under 31.5 points assists. This is like a Brooklyn team that is kind of just good at one thing, which is limiting assists to point guards and assists to the other team and being able to switch and honestly not really doubling ever. So they just switch all the time and they don't double you. So that means you're probably right. If you don't switch, then it's hard to get those assists because the other guy is covered on the pick and roll. They allow the least amount of points to the pick and roll man on the season, and they allow a bottom 10 in terms of they're top 10 in terms of limiting point guards who are the ball handler in those situations. So they're really good against a pick and roll because they have 5 dudes on the floor or 4 of them who are all like 6'8" with long wingspans and Nick Claxton, right? And so it's really about can they like limit what the Pacers do best, and that's why you've seen this total drop. I think is because the answer is yes, and that Nets offense, if they're not hitting shots, it's anemic, but if they are hitting shots, I would definitely lean Brooklyn to be able to cover on the road with the way that the Pacers have been playing a little bit choppier and slower, which will feed right into their hands, honestly.
Yeah, it's weird you said that because that's exactly how I feel. This is kind of a pass for me. I'd actually lean the other way, but I'm not touching this. And it's because exactly what you said. If the Nets are hitting shots, and I feel like that sentence has such a wide variance. If the Nets are winning shots, I can see Brooklyn pulling the upset off and winning this game. They've been very offensively. They've been very 3-point reliant recently. In the last 5 games, 32% of their shots are coming from above the break, and they're hitting them. They're shooting over 41%. So the Nets have been draining their threes, but now they go on the road to Indiana, a team that's actually got good defensive numbers against a 3-point shot. Can we count it? Can the Nets 3-point success continue? And that's why I can't really get involved here because I don't think the shots are going to fall for the Nets. And if they don't, I can see Indiana winning by 30. Seriously. Yeah. So there's just way too wide of a.
It's hilarious. Where like what you're saying, the value on this game is like either bet the Indy -9 or like Indy alt total or just bet the Nets money line.
Right, right. I just think it's such a wide range of where this game could land. Something that the reason I can't get there with Brooklyn is all of a sudden the Nets are having problems protecting the rim. And the Pacers are coming for the basket. That's what the Pacers do. And I can't back the Nets if they're not going to protect the basket there. Pacers also get out in transition, something the Nets have struggled with. So I really couldn't get there with this one. Also, strength of schedule. In the last 10 games, Nets 27th, Pacers 9th. So the Pacers have played a much stronger schedule. I would lean Pacers.
Yeah, they had a nice win against the Thunder the other night.
I would lean Pacers. And honestly, I can't even give a lean on the total because if the Nets shots are falling, this will fly over. If the Nets shots aren't falling, which I don't think they're going to, I would lean under. So there's just it's too many ifs in that sentence.
Yeah.
Let's see. Poll 67-17. So Polls on the Pacers. Community definitely likes Indiana here, which is the way I'd lean. But, man, the Pacers just have a tendency to just let teams go bucket for bucket with them and just, like, play a close game with anybody.
And that's the other thing is they don't, like I said, since they don't double you, they give up like the most points in isolation. That's what the Nets players are doing a lot of as well. There's a lot of these unassisted 3-point field goals, right? And so if the Nets can't really guard the ball handler on the pick and roll on the other side, like, so if you hit your above the break threes off the dribble, which Mikal Bridges and Cam Thomas want to do as much as anybody in the league, then yeah, and it's just variance. It's why it's annoying to bet on teams who just shoot all threes like the Mavs and company,
right?
You know,
this is another one where my bet got negative. I see 208.5 now. I really like the under here. I'm bought in on it. I am surprised the line. Let's see if Prop Beaver made me an under graphic. I didn't tell him to. All right, so I'll just put the regular under graphic up. So yeah, I like the. I don't think this game hits double digits. 200. Yeah. The Pacers. The Hornets have been playing really low scoring games recently. I lost all my notes when my computer restarted. But the Hornets have defended jump shooters really well. They're playing good defense against the mid-range shot, good defense against a three-point shot. Philly's been taking a lot of three-point shots recently, which wasn't the case a while ago, but they are now with Hield in the lineup. This Hornets defense is 4th in defensive rating in the last 5 games. Now, they haven't played anyone of note, but still, they're playing good defense. Defense travels. I don't fully trust the Sixers offense right now. And if you look at the game logs of recent Hornets and Sixers games, they are not putting points on the board. These are low-scoring games. I think the final score of this one is 99-90 Philly, something like that. So I definitely, I'm not lean under. I'm in on the under. I got in at 208.
Yeah, that's my play as well for this game. I don't have any props in this one because it was tough for me. Like I said, one of the reasons I know these books are getting sharp with these player props is when you see a low total or that they expect, 208 in this one, and they're still giving you guys, who take a lot of shots at like 22.5, 23.5 points. And these are like 20 point per game scores. And you're like, wait, so this dude's going to get 3 more points than his average, but you're predicting a 208.5 total. Like if you take those overs, you're probably dumb, but they know people want to take overs in that situation. So I didn't have the stones to take too many unders in this one because the guys that I would look to get value out of, like Micic and company. Both these teams are just kind of like, they've been pretty good defensively above the break. In terms of limiting threes and jump shots, like you said, and neither of them have a player down low that you're worried about. The fact that Nick Richards is like the top big man in this game tells you something about the level of talent down low in the interior for both these teams right now, which has been the case all season for Charlotte. And obviously Philly is a completely different team when they have one of the top 2 best players in the league on the floor for them with Joel Embiid not in there. But it's really like, is Maxey going to hit shots? I guess he can go to the rim if you want as well. So like, that's fine. But I think the possessions are going to take a while. Like we've seen as Philly has really loved to slow down the pace themselves because they know that they don't really have the offense, right? So they've been dead second to last for a while now in that pace, basically since without Joel. And it's really the offensive efficiency is in that type of stuff. So if you're going to guard the perimeter, that's why I liked Maxey in his last matchup where he went over in that one against the Bucks. I was like, well, he can shoot from above he does everything super well that the Bucks are terrible at defending. So that was an easy over. But now at 27.5 points for Maxey, it's like they're teasing you guys. Like this is an easy read on how the Bucks are playing this, and under is for the game is the only thing I'm playing.
Yeah, and to play on what Josh just said about the pace, Philly is 29th at pace in the last 10 games, 29th in the last 5 games as well. So the Sixers are running an extremely slow pace. And to take it a step further, one thing Charlotte's good at is limiting opponents' fast breaks. They're 7th in defensive fast break frequency, so they don't let their opponents get out in transition. And then conversely, on the other side, Charlotte doesn't run the fast break. So not only are we going to see a slow pace, in my opinion, but I don't think we're going to see many fast breaks either. So, yeah, I definitely think I'm actually surprised when I placed this bet at 208. I thought I was going to wake up to see it at 204.5. I'm actually surprised it's still sitting around the same.
Yep.
So we got 44%, 42% on Charlotte. So community pretty split on this one, slightly leaning towards the Hornets.
And so if you like missed jump shots and turnovers, then for sure watch this game.
I will for sure not be watching this game.
Yeah.
There's other games on, and also March Madness I've been losing money, but I've been having a lot of fun. So
yeah, it's college ball is so freaking fun, dude.
It's so hard to predict though on a number.
Yeah.
Like some of it doesn't even make sense. It's like the best team, the best rebounding team in the conference is getting out rebounded by the 12 seed. Like it's like what the fuck?
Conference tourneys, baby.
Yeah, they're crazy.
They are here.
All right, so we got Blazers at Pelicans next, and Josh, I don't know if you have anything. This is a straight pass for me. I'm not going to lay 13 with New Orleans, but I'm not gonna touch Portland here. So this is a straight pass for me.
When I saw it at 15.5 as an open as the dog for Portland, I was like, yo, that's too much. And then it was immediately like 13.5. You know what I mean? So it's gone. Like, but I would lean Portland because Herb Jones is probably not playing. He was a late add. I usually like to rely on the only thing that I feel like I can rely on most of the time with the injury reports in the NBA is that if you were not on the injury report at all, and now you're questionable starting at like 12 noon local time that day, you're trending towards not playing. You went from right. So that's the only, and so with Herb Jones not playing, I think there's a tiny bit of value for Portland with a couple of guys coming back. And just like for me, also, my first thought was like, when I saw 15.5 with no research done at all, I was like, this is going to be where the Pelly's Pelly. Like, of course, they had a nice win against the Clippers with Kawhi playing, right? And so now it's like you come right back and they're just going to Pelly. They're going to probably like either one of two things. They're going to need to come back and win it barely, or they're going to be up by like 20 for most of the game and it's going to end as a 7-point win. Like, that's how the Pellies do. So that's just my quick glance at it and nothing really much more than that.
I will put Portland plus 13.5 up for me as well because that's the only way I would go. But
yeah,
I'm not even like, hey, I'm most likely not betting this. There's 0% chance I bet this game.
Yeah, for sure.
We got 55%, 22%. So community actually likes the Pelicans there. Minus 13. That's crazy. We've seen them.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah, that's a lot of points with a team that we've seen punt of several games.
The way that goes is like Trey Murphy's on the floor instead of Herb Jones, so they win by 30 because he just hits like 10 threes. But like,
right,
short of that, like, I don't know.
I would imagine we're both passing this one just because of the Grizzlies injury report, right?
Yep, 100%.
I'll leave the poll up. And you know what? I'll pull up the injury report.
And I would just throw a word of caution out there, which I said this exact thing on Twitter last time and in one of my videos when these two teams played recently. And even Jaren Jackson Jr. was out in that one for the Grizz, which I think he's on the injury report.
He's questionable.
Yeah. So if he doesn't play, then it's the same scenario as last time where it was like people are like, oh, I'm smashing SGA over 30.5. And I'm like, points. And I'm like, why would he play the fourth quarter? And sure enough, they were up by 35 in the second quarter. He ended with like 24 points and he like broke people's hearts. I'm like, dude, that's on you, man. If you thought he was going to play 35 minutes against the Grizzlies backups.
I know the blowout potential. He kills props. And that's one of the huge reasons that, because I've seen Prop Beaver lose so many bets with a perfect read based on blowouts. And to give you an idea of what we're talking about here, on the left side of the screen is the injury reports. Look at Memphis. Not only are they the most injured team in the NBA to begin with, but even the active players, Desmond Bane's coming back soon. Okay. Good for No, I like Desmond Bane. I'm a fan.
So, I love him, yeah.
But
yeah, you can't polish a turd. You're just putting Desmond Bane around a bunch of dudes that can't play. Like, what are you supposed to do?
And we don't know who's going to be on the floor for Memphis, so this is a pass for me, and it sounds like for Josh as well.
Yeah, it's degeneracy for the last few games. There's so much other stuff to bet on and watch. Like, go or touch grass or something.
Yeah. No need. 67% of you said you would lay the 10.5 with Oklahoma City. 16% said you would take the points. Next up,
take a 10.5 point favorite, by the way, and a 218.5 total. Just saying that too, but
Wizards on the road in Chicago. Bob, I don't know what analogy you're talking about, but thank you. He said, I never thought about the impact of that analogy. I don't know. Appreciate
Maybe
it.
some of my polish a turd one.
Maybe. All right, so we got Wizards on the road in Chicago. This is another one where I do have more bets I like, but this isn't one of them. I like this Bulls team, but like them a lot better on the road, and I like them a lot better either as a dog or a short favorite. Are the Bulls really a team we want to lay 10 points with? Absolutely not for me, even though they do look great. But the reason I can't get there with Washington is I think a big part of Washington's offense has been Tyus Jones facilitating, and with him out, what does that offense even look like? The Grizzlies, I said. The Wizards have been, their offense has been on the backbone of the fast break, right? Because he's been so good distributing the ball. Without him, man, you're going to rely on Jordan Poole making the decisions for this offense. If you've watched Wizards basketball, decision-making is not really Jordan Poole's thing. Like, he's a talented guy, not taking shots at him, but when it comes to, like, making the right reads and making the right decisions with the ball, no. No. The only way I go here is actually the Bulls, but the thought of laying 10 points with Chicago is crazy to me. So that's how I feel about the game.
Yeah. I wish that I had more for you on it as well, but I couldn't even feel comfortable taking props. Once again, just bemoaning from the same place, like DeMar DeRozan props all the way up to like 26.5. Nikola Vucevic, 22.5 with like 11.5 or 12.5 boards. Like, it's 224.5 total does not equate to just everybody having fucking 22 or more points. It doesn't add up that way. And so I can't comfortably take anything that way either, even though I don't trust the down low presence for either team. So if it's going to be a parade to the rim for both teams, which Washington does go to the rim a ton, Avdia and Kuzma, and part of that is predicated on Tyus Jones, but part of it is also they just get it and go, right? And those dudes have like kind of one speed, which is shoot or go really hard to the rim. And Jordan Poole is the thing that worries me, is like, does the offense just stop because he's just like, I got it on every play? I can't rely on that. We don't have good data with Tyus Jones in terms of him not playing in a game yet this season, because we have none. But we do know that his on-off stuff is the offensive rating obviously goes way down, and the pace does speed up actually. Even that's also because the backups tend to play a lot faster than the starters do anyway. So I'm not as worried about that. But yeah, that's a long way of saying like I would lean on over before anything, but that's if Jordan Poole decides that he doesn't want to just take over and dominate everything.
So you'd lean towards the over.
I would lean it, but I'm not gonna play it.
37% Wizards, 42% Bulls. I would imagine not many people in the comments trying to get involved in that one either.
Yeah, smart.
Here's a good one, but we're waiting. Whether or not Steph Curry is going to play is
He's
huge.
Going to play.
He is?
He's going to play.
The
latest report locally was likely available. So, like, I think he and Draymond play. I know AD and LeBron play.
That makes this game really difficult. If Steph was going to sit this one, I would have laid 9.5 with the Lakers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But now that he's playing,
I think
go ahead.
Steph
You go
playing,
first.
I still think -2 is a play. I have a lot for this game, but let me hear what you were going to say before I interrupt you.
I think we're in a difficult spot with this one because handicap-wise, as far as how these two teams match up, no question, Lakers. Lakers have been the better team recently, and not just the games that Steph's been out. Before Steph got hurt, remember, Golden State dropped 2 out of 3 games. Lakers, by the way, played one of the strongest schedules in the NBA recently. In the last 10 games, they're 4th in strength of schedule compared to 22nd for Golden State. In the last 5 games, it's 2nd to 25th. So we're talking about a Lakers team that's going through the gauntlet schedule-wise. Meanwhile, Golden State's got some easier opponents. And this Lakers team just seems to have Golden State's number. Golden State just 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 against LA. One of those wins for Golden State was without LeBron. That was the most recent one, actually.
Yep.
Last time LeBron played against Golden State, he had 36, 20, and 12. Went absolutely nuts. Took whatever he wanted on the interior.
It was double OT, right? I believe that game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lakers at home have been money. 9-3 in their last 12 home games. The 3 losses, 2 of them were against Denver. Like, this Lakers team at home's been good. They match up well against the Warriors. Against teams that don't run the fast break, Lakers 7-3 against the spread. Against bottom 5 teams at fast break, Warriors don't push the tempo. Since January 1st, they're perfect 4-0 against those bottom 5 pace teams. Warriors have been struggling to defend the interior. The list goes on. I found so many positive angles I like for the Lakers, not many for Golden State. So why am I not holding a Lakers ticket? Because if Steph Curry and Draymond are both playing,
oh my God,
I like the spot way better for Golden State. This team needs to win way more than the Lakers do. The Lakers look pretty good recently. The vibes in Laker Nation are high. Lakers fans are believing in this team again. Meanwhile, Golden State is hungry for a win. Golden State's been better on the road this year. So as much as a favorable matchup it is for the Lakers, I also think it's a really nice spot for Golden State to come out in absolute desperation mode and grab a win. I'm going to put Lakers -2 up on the screen, but I don't think I actually place $1 on this because it's I don't like it enough. If I bet it, it'll just be me doing some gambling because I want to watch this game because it should be good.
Yeah.
It's a great matchup for the Lakers, but it's a great spot for the Warriors. That's the best way to sum up how I feel.
Dig it. I like that Steph is playing because if he does, because it makes the game more fun. I'm literally just like, I texted like 3 people. I used to work in like Bay Area media, so I'm literally just hawking people with, is Steph playing? For the love of God, text me back, please. I've been doing that since before the show started. But for the purposes of assuming he's gonna play, then this game is awesome. And I do think Draymond's good to play. Like, he's been questionable a lot since he came back from the injury report and still been playing. He's one of those dudes, right? He's like a LeBron and AD. You just put him in that category. Jaylen Brown usually falls in that category of questionable, but always plays. So with Steph, like, I heard like on Wednesday or Thursday I read on Twitter from a dude who a couple of different people who cover the Warriors coming out of practice, like, Steph will likely be available on Saturday, and I think they're just like I think he's gonna play. So like you said, they need this game. They're a game back in the standings right now, 10 seed and 9 seed. If he does play, we're talking about Steph and LeBron in the same game, and when that happens with these two teams, the total average is 248 in their last 4. And if you take away that double overtime game, these average 236 in those 3 games that we're talking about. Because if LeBron is in there, he's the one pushing this team into transition, being like, let's go, especially because he'll get 8 to 10 rebounds and just do it himself, right? And push the tempo by himself with whoever wants to run with him. And the Warriors, it's the same story that it's been for the last, basically since AD came to LA. The story between these two teams, when they're both good, has been, the Lakers are going to have a parade to the free throw line, and if the Dubs hit their threes above the break, then they can hang around. And in the playoffs, you cannot rely on that, especially the way Klay Thompson has not been able to back him up with his own stuff, right? And I still don't think they have enough three-point shooting to beat the Lakers in an actual playoff series. But in one game, if you have Steph playing and shooting 14 times from above the break, then you're in, that's where the Lakers are weakest. And so if you're talking about the dude who's the best at doing what they're awful at defending, then yeah, like you said, that's enough to think that there's actually value. That's how much this dude is worth, right? And to me, he's worth more to the total even than he is to their ability to win. Because I think if you hit LA 2.5 right now, it's a good play, because if he doesn't play, you're looking at incredible value. And if he does play, this is still a good bet. Like, I think this line is probably fair, but I would be willing to take that money to have something on it to watch it, like you said. The other bets that I'm putting together, if Steph plays, I'm going over 24.5, because that's what he's listed at right now. Or I might have moved entirely. I would play 25.5 if you're wondering, because I also laddered it with 30 plus. And it's absurd if this is at 24.5. Like, I guess this is based on the idea that he's been hurt, and so maybe he can't do it. Like, nah, if he's coming back to play, there's not really like risk of a further injury, because they would never do that. He still has like 4 to 5 seasons of helping them be like the face of the league in that sense. So he's going to be there and healthy, and they're not going to risk that. So that's part of why I think he's good to go, because they were talking about him being good to go within the team. The 24.5 is an insult, considering that in the last 5 against them in the regular season, he's averaging 33.5 points per game, and on like 24.5 shots per game. That's all I need to know about almost anybody, is like, if he's taking 24.5 shots versus a team in over a 5-game span, then I'm going to feel good that he's going to be able to get the 24.5 points he needs, especially with the amount of threes that he's putting up, where he's just got to hit like 6 of the 13 or 14 that he's taking, which is a awful percentage for Steph Curry. It's more like he's going to hit 9 than 6 at that point. Now you're talking about 27 points off that. So that's just as likely as anything. And I don't think his, like, the issues that he was having would be a reason that he wouldn't be able to do that. The other thing I want to take real quick, and please feel free to fade me and just not follow along, but I took Andrew Wiggins over 12.5 points, and I ate the fact that it was 11.5, but I didn't give it out. And it's actually even money. My bad if that I told probably the wrong thing, but it was even money on DraftKings for him to go over 12.5. And it's really, honestly, I don't usually do this, but it's a matchup play in terms of he just loves playing this matchup. Like, yeah, the Lakers are decently bad at giving up his points to where he shoots from mid-range and the above the break 3. That's really it. Like, and that's where he'll continue to shoot from. And he's scored. But more important than that to me is just he's gone over this number in 8 of his last 10 games versus them. He's gone over it in 4 straight against them as well in the regular season. He loves playing this team, and he always has. So, like, that's kind of all I got for you, man. That's why I'm also with that. So I think points are going to be coming from a lot of places there.
And Steph is questionable. The reports are saying he's likely to play. So I don't know. People are saying Steph is out. That's not confirmed at all. 70%, 23% in favor of the Lakers.
If we knew Steph was out, that would not be -2.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would. That'd be Lakers -2.5 would be my biggest bet of the year if I knew Steph was out.
Yeah. Right.
Next game, Minnesota at Utah. All right, let's clear the board here. I have a bet on this game.
Same.
I'm in on the Jazz, man.
Let's go.
I took the Jazz.
Are you worried about them sitting people?
Yeah, but you know what? You could have the same worry about Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota's got question marks everywhere. Gobert may not.
Does Rudy fall under that? Like,
yeah, he's questionable a lot, but he's also been in situations where he's questionable and didn't play, though. That's happened a couple times. So Kyle Anderson questionable, Rudy Gobert questionable, Towns is out. How motivated is Minnesota for this game? So that there's all that, but also I actually kind of like the matchup for the Jazz. As crazy as that sounds,
that's not crazy.
So I got Utah +8. I think you can get 8.5 now. But I saw it down at 7.5 about an hour ago. So I think this one's fluctuating a little bit. So all the weaknesses for Utah, right? And there's a few of them. But the weaknesses for Utah, these are just not areas where Minnesota's built to exploit. Minnesota's been one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA recently. They have no three-point shooting at all. All their damage has come on the interior. It's actually the only area on the defensive side of the court that Utah has decent numbers, is protecting the interior. They can't defend jump shooters, and they can't defend the fast break, which brings me to my next point. Minnesota doesn't run the fast break ever. 28th in fast break frequency. So the two huge blaring weaknesses, the two areas where the Jazz are just getting cooked night in and night out, Minnesota doesn't do either of them. And then with Towns out, the lack of three-point shooting for Minnesota takes an even bigger hit. So Minnesota offense, not to mention, has been struggling since the All-Star break. It really haven't been that great, other than that one explosion by Anthony Edwards in that Clippers game. Other than that, Minnesota's offense really hasn't been anything to write home about. In fact, they've been a bottom half of the NBA offense. It's their defense that's been powering them. I just can't lay 8 points on the road with this team that I don't think is going to be able to score points and exploit the Jazz weaknesses. And one thing I'll say about teams being motivated and sitting guys, and I think I said this yesterday or the other day. So the coaching staff and the front office can be motivated to try and lose games and take pieces in and out. But the players themselves that are on the court are playing for contracts. They're playing for minutes. They are not trying to lose games. It's the front office that will be like, hey, it's not in our best interest to win. Let's rest market it. Okay, that's fair. But the guys that are playing aren't trying to lose games. And you know what? Even without marketing, even without Kessler on the court, Utah's still been a great rebounding team. I'm on Jazz +8. It's one of my smaller bets, but I'm on Utah here. I think they could win.
Is Jonathan Collins out?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You're still good with that?
Yeah, well, because Kessler's back now, so it's like
yeah. The thing about Kessler too is he playing minutes? Like I hope
he usually plays like what, 25?
Yeah, he's been playing 20. How many did he even get last night? I think he got 20 last night, maybe.
26 last night.
Okay, good. Okay, then that's trending upward. And if Jonathan Collins is out, then yeah, I guess that there's some likelihood of him playing a bit more. Yeah, I for this one, first of all, this total got bet down, or is it still at is it at 223 still?
It was at 223 when I made the graphics. That was about it is at 222.5.
Okay.
223, right. 222.5.
Okay. Because I think the thing is I don't know if Jordan Clarkson is playing. There's some likelihood. I guess if he does, it's just even better. If he does, I think this is a really good number for the over. So
I have Clarkson ruled out.
Damn it, he is officially out.
I don't like Clarkson though. I think the Jazz are better without him.
Just at home. It's really an at-home thing for the Jazz. That's really what I'm looking at, right? Is like it's just crazy.
Chris Dunn is back though. Chris Dunn didn't play last night. Chris Dunn's playing.
Damn it, that's actually good for the defense, and he slows things down because he can't shoot. Yeah. Okay. I guess it's a stay away on the total. I wanted to like see if we were any further along in these injury reports. So I didn't take anything then in this game. That's really, I was looking at over. I mean, I can't reasonably take an under in a Jazz game at home where they already average 120 by themselves, and they score $120 in a game last night where that total dropped last night, and it was like, great, I'm hitting the over. It's the Jazz at home. I know Keontae George and Colin Sexton are going to keep pushing the pace and keep things going. So I lean over 222.5, but I don't have a play for this game. I didn't put anything on it.
Yeah, don't blame you. 50%, 41% in favor of Minnesota. So community's leaning towards the T-Wolves there.
If Ant cared, then it's nice. But I have stuff for this game too. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I have a lean in this game. I think I might get there, but why don't you go first?
Another game that I hit an over based on just like how these teams play each other, how much better the Knicks are when they have Jalen Brunson on the floor on offense. Unsurprisingly, we'll talk about one of the most obvious things I could say, but like even without Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson on the floor, like they're still like pretty much the same offense, to be honest with you. And it's in part because they have other guys this year, like DiVincenzo as a shooter, and then Josh Hart playing in the transition for them, as well as obviously now OG. So like basically just the over for this team is like there's a stark difference between the way that these teams have played when they're at SAC versus when they're in New York. And when they're at SAC, these games have averaged 242 and a half. And when they're at New York in the last two, which is dating back to last year, or 2 years ago as well, with Jalen Brunson, they are at 211 and a half. And it's where how the Knicks play on the road, how the Kings play at home, way faster, way better offense, all that's the Kings at home this year have done that like to the tune of like 241 and a half usually is their total at home versus like about a 236 or 233 in that range for most of the season in terms of the totals when they play on the road, and the pace slows down, the offense becomes worse, the defense becomes better, probably because they at least start to feel the need to like play defense, right? And if they're not scoring in transition, then the pace of the game might slow down. But I think they can beat the Knicks in transition, who I think it sounds bad for OG in terms of how much he can play, and if he's going to be able to go at all. But like there was like a tweet from one of the New York reporters who was like, OG is like in pain every time he does something with his right arm, and has to like lift his arm up above his shoulder. So it was just like, that doesn't sound good. But either way, like with him as questionable, things actually on defense for them are just going to be as bad. And there's other guys to get out in transition for the Knicks to make this thing go over. I was looking really hard at props for like DiVincenzo and Josh Hart. It's really hard for me not to take an over. Josh Hart's had 20 rebound chances per game in his last 5 games in this exact type of scenario. So if anything, I would continue to take over 9.5 boards for him. But other than that, I just love the over in this game a bit more.
Over?
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that. Someone said, "Are you drunk? I can't see any reason for the Jazz." Did you not listen? I just gave you like 7. Are you watching on mute, dog? All right, so I am going to bet the Knicks tonight, but I'm not betting it now because if OG Anunoby is ruled out, we'll get a better number. Played it simple. The Knicks defense is all the way back, and I know everyone's pointing at OG Anunoby and saying that's the reason. But you know what? They started returning before he came back. I'll pull it up, actually. Why speculate? All right, so where's my Knicks spreadsheet? There we go. All right, so Knicks in the last 5 games, first in the NBA in defensive rating. Solid, but OG Anunoby played in 2 or 3 of those games. In the last 10 games, 4th. So the Knicks defense was returning before OG came back. Couple things the Knicks have done really well defensively. They've locked down the 3-point shot in the last 5 games. They're 4th and 6th, but OG Anunoby his length is a big reason for that. But they're first in protecting the basket. First in the last 10 games. Opponents shooting just 54.9% at the rim against the Knicks in the last 10. They also have really good numbers against the short mid-range shot. Look, I think the Knicks are going to start playing well again, and I'm down to take points. This is when you fade the Kings. When they win a couple games and everyone starts to believe in the Kings again, this is when they punt. This is when they lose. So I'm probably going to end up with a bet on the Knicks, but I'm just not going to place a plus 3.5 bet, have OG ruled out, and have it close at 5. So I'm waiting it out, but I'm definitely going to end up on the Knicks here somehow.
Yep. I feel that.
All right. Poll is 52%, 43% Knicks. So community slightly leaning towards Knicks. All right. Let's do a quick community parlay and call it. Nebraska's out here playing the Illini tough. For those of you who had Nebraska with me. All right, so we got Cavs money line. We got Nets Pacers, the Pacers money line. We got Hornets Sixers. They like the Hornets, so we'll put Hornets plus 10.5 in there. And then Blazers Pelicans. I'm putting up Pelicans minus 13. We're not having Pelicans money line at minus 1,000 in this shit. Yeah, tomorrow morning, definitely. Same March Madness show. But we're going to do it at 11 a.m. Eastern time instead of 10:30. There's only 5 games, so there's no reason for us to start early. I guess this guy had Purdue. I had Wisconsin there.
Someone bet on Purdue.
Yeah, they choked and lost. All 4, well, no, 1-3. All 3 games I got in this quad screen right now, all 3, I'm on the winning side so far. Still the first half, though. First half and a couple of them. Cavs money line by a landslide.
Yeah, you knew that's coming.
Yeah. Cavs money line. Second place was Pacers. So if you bet the Pacers, you'll get another shot. Let's see. Next poll. We got Thunder Grizzlies. I'll put Thunder minus 10.5, I guess. Wizards Bulls. That was like split. We'll put Bulls minus 10. This is an ugly one.
Yeah.
Warriors Lakers. Lakers money line. That's going to win the vote too.
Yeah.
And then Timberwolves money line. All right. Cast your vote. Looks like, yep, Lakers money line is going to win with Thunder minus 10.5 second. So let's put that up. Lakers money line. Whoa. And then the ones that got votes are, we got Pacers money line. Where's the other poll? Didn't come up yet. That's what happened. Waiting for it. There it is. Thunder money line and Timberwolves money line. So we'll do one with those 3. Thunder minus 10.5, Timberwolves money line, and then Pacers money line. We're taking 2 out of these 3, so whatever 2 gets the most votes. Cast your votes. Appreciate it, Danny. Yeah, the show's been growing. The crazy part is we just started the live show at the very end of 2 baseball seasons ago. So like the live show is like very new, but. And we're trying to add it. We're running out of room on the screen, so I can't add any more cool things to it. We're out of room. But, yeah, excited for this baseball season. Our MLB live show does well. Oh, by the way, make sure you check out Josh's stuff. He has a channel where he uploads every single night for the next day. So his NBA stuff, he goes through his favorite props. It's called Land Your Bets, by the way.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I've been doing a live stream right after you end yours, basically.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit closer to tip just because I get some videos out in the morning also, and then and then go live and it's been getting some good. It's a little bit different because it's just me, and it's really me like taking people's requests for like if they have a prop or even a side or total and they want to talk about it, then they jump in the comments and I put it up on screen and we just kind of go through each one and show them the process a little bit as well, kind of behind the scenes stuff. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
people have been liking it.
Yeah, and with props, the closer you get to tip, the better, probably.
Exactly. We usually have injury reports by that point for hopefully.
This is a chalky one. We got Cavs money line, Lakers money line, Pacers money line, Thunder minus 10.5. I'm going to say plus 466.
Hold on. I got most of it up. Pacers and I got Cavs, Lakers, Pacers, Thunder, right?
Thunder minus 10.5, plus 466.
Oh, we take them minus 10.5.
Yeah, I'm going to guess plus 466.
All right, this is plus 523 on FanDuel, and let me get the we got Cavs, Lakers, Pacers. I got to add because I'm checking out on both. I'm checking DK real quick as well. minus 395 for the money line with the Pacers, and then the Thunder minus 10.5, plus 537. A little bit better on DraftKings.
All right, a little better on DraftKings. I don't think people that are placing the community parlay are necessarily line shopping. It's not a it's not a value play. Cavs money line, Lakers money line, Pacers money line, Thunder minus 10.5 plus 537. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow 11 a.m. for the March Madness, the 5 conference championships. Should be an awesome day. NBA, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I don't know if I'm going to have a live show. I will upload a video tonight, but I don't know if I have a live show. My final bets will probably just be posted on the website for tomorrow because I'm doing a NASCAR video too. That'll be up tonight as well. So everyone, have a great night. Remember to bet responsibly. Let's have a good one. I need to bounce back, man, for 2 losing NBA. First time I had back-to-back losing NBA nights since January. So I need to let's cut that shit out.
Yeah, knock it off.
Yeah, let's knock that off right now. Let's have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you later. Good shit, man. Thanks for coming on.